Welcome in to another new podcast from the Association for Materials Protection and Performance. My name is Ben Dubose, and I'm a staff writer with Materials Performance Magazine, also known as MP. Today, in the latest episode of our MP interview series, we're continuing our mini-series to spotlight some of the newer technologies designed to assist with the war against corrosion. In late April, as many of you are likely aware, we announced the 2021 winners of the MP Corrosion Innovation of the Year Awards program. These winners, which you can read about at materialsperformance.com or at the awards website, were graded and judged by a panel of industry experts across numerous fields and sectors within corrosion control. Anyway, over the coming weeks and months, we're inviting each of these winning groups onto the podcast to talk a bit more about their winning innovation and how they think it can potentially change the corrosion industry in the years ahead. Joining us today, we have Marcelo Senatore, Technical Marketing Manager for the Americas region at Sandvik. As you may recall, Sandvik was recently honored in the Corrosion Innovation Awards for its Sanicro 35 alloy, and that's what Marcelo is going to be discussing today. Marcelo, welcome to the podcast. How are you?
Doing good. Thank you, Ben.
No problem. Glad to have you. And I think a good place to start, if you could just introduce yourself to our audience, your career in the industry, and what it is that you do with Sandvik.
All right. So my name is Marcelo Senatore. I'm the Technical Marketing Manager for Sandvik in Americas. I'm a metallurgical engineer, Brazilian, started my career in Brazil, had all my education there. Since college, I'm working with stainless steel tubes. Started with a local welded tube mill, and after that, started working with Sandvik in the sales department for tube. And after a few years, I moved to US with Sandvik and continued my career here, always in the sales department, technical department. So a mix of technical and commercial, right? So that was 17 years ago. Had my MBA there too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a long experience with tubes, stainless steel, and a close connection with the industry.
So let's talk about Sanicro 35, the winning innovation from the Corrosion Innovation Awards. Just as a high-level overview, what is it and what is Sandvik trying to do with it?
So most people are familiar with Sandvik, and we got known by our developments with duplex alloys, right?
Okay.
Because from the beginning of duplex, Sandvik was there launching duplex alloys, and we did the first super duplex, the first hyper duplex, and we got really known by that. There's a lot of limitations with duplex, and we saw an opportunity in the market to develop an alloy that was high performance, that could compete with some of the nickel alloy as far as performance, but also could be have the same workability of a regular austenitic alloy, right? And that's what we were able to achieve with Sanicro 35.
So what are the end users for it? What are the end applications in terms of actually putting this into the field? Can you sort of illustrate who and how this actually gets used by?
Sure. So in the beginning, the first products that we develop is heat exchanger tubes and instrumentation. So all the potential use that we see is applications with high chloride, with some acid, right? And chemical industry, refining industry, oil and gas, especially offshore. Those are, in the beginning, potential industry and potential applications for Sanicro 35. Basically, normally where you would be using a super duplex or a 6 moly and you're not really happy with the performance, you would upgrade to a 625 or a C276, right?
Hmm.
That's really where the niche we're looking for Seneca 35.
So tell us a little bit about the timeline of this. How long has this been in the works, and what was sort of the origins of it as far as, I suppose, the driving force to develop the technology? Just if you could give us a timeline perspective of when and why you started down this path.
The metals industry, the steel industry is very conservative, right?
Hmm.
So a new alloy could be in the market for 10, 15 years. It's still considered a new alloy,
Hmm.
right? And the development also takes a long time.
Hmm.
To be able to produce this alloy, we have to go through a path, be able to master other similar alloys, so we could develop this one in a way that is extremely stable, right? So there's no phase formation or anything like that that would be really difficult to weld or to work at higher temperatures, and would be workability would be easier, but at the same time the performance would be very high. So
Hmm.
that development started, I don't know, maybe 5 to 10 years ago,
Hmm.
right? In all the initial stages in the R&D, and then it moves. We were ready to launch the alloy about 2 years ago, but there was a few hiccups, and then COVID came, so we were not able to do what we were planning, and we did the commercial launch actually with you guys using your webinar
Hmm.
tool, right?
Yep.
Uh, if I recall, that was last year in September.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, but a few papers were already presented at NACE last year, right?
Okay. Yeah.
But then we considered that an official launch, that webinar. We present several papers at NACE this year,
Hmm.
uh, and now it's commercially available. We
Hmm.
have several sizes qualified. We're expanding production, expanding the size qualification. Um we have an agreement with a plate producer, so sheet and plate will be available quite soon, and
Hmm.
all the trials were successful. Uh, so it's taking off now real quick, and actually, I mean, I can announce to you firsthand that we got our first full commercial order for overhead condenser with a refinery here in Texas.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. That's pretty great.
Yes, thank you.
So you touched earlier on the fact that the industry can be fairly conservative.
Mhm.
Historically, when we're talking about these various stainless steel grades and nickel alloys, what are some of the historical limitations with those technologies, and how does Sanicro 35 potentially overcome those?
Between all the limitations, I think the biggest limitation that is out there is availability.
Hmm.
To be very honest with you, a material is only popular if it's fully available. Product forms and also market availability, right? I mean, you need to buy it, you find it, right? And you don't need to buy 100 ton to get access to uh, a couple tubes, right?
Hmm.
And we are making this material very available. Other materials in the past, I would say 2507 was a case of a very successful material launch, and the reason why it was successful is quickly it was fully available in every product form you could find, right?
Hmm.
Uh, But again, we're talking about technical limitations of alloys, right? So duplex alloys, there's a limitation of temperature, right?
Mm-hmm.
Depending on the alloy, you cannot go above 570 Fahrenheit or 300 Celsius, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nickel alloys uh, price can be a limitation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some other alloys, the limitation is really availability or phase formation. So we're trying to make this to check mark all those items, you know, and be a material that technically fulfills everything a customer would need for a corrosion resistant super alloy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But also an available one.
So what type of field testing was there? I know it's commercially available now,
Yeah.
but just to sort of explain the background, what type of testing was done and what did you find in those trials in recent years?
Okay, so first we did all the lab testing with the alloy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Before the commercial launch, we start talking with key companies, key users, and we provide testing coupons or testing tubes for people to put in service or to do their own testing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I mean, almost all of this testing are covered by NDA, so I cannot be specific about those, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we did testing to cover, especially for refinery, which is of high interest for us. Uh, that a testing that is the same that was done before with a joint industry program with a JIP, right? For ammonium chloride, ammonium bisulfide, corrosion, with one of the reputable testing companies here in Houston. So
Mm-hmm.
we did the same testing as they done before, you know, and we got results and we're able to compare with other traditional alloys.
So let's flash forward to now that it's commercially available. What
Mhm.
type of feedback have you gotten in the first few months that this has been on the market from the people that are actually using it?
So the webinar that we did with you guys was extremely successful.
Mm-hmm.
We got a global reach, and many people were looking at testing the material with us. We're looking for more information, and we did send out a lot of testing coupons, testing tubes for companies to do their own evaluation. Uh, Now it's about 7 months after that, and we got our first full commercial order. We have several orders that are under discussion right now, not only in US but also in EMEA and Asia. So
Mm-hmm.
this is quickly taking off.
Well, congratulations. I'm glad to hear that. So it doesn't sound like you've had any type of negative feedback to warrant changes in recent months. Are there any updates that you're planning? Like I said, I know changes is a bit too strong because it sounds like the feedback has been pretty positive. But is there anything that's going to be potentially tweaked or added to this in the months or years ahead?
Well, moving forward, we need to qualify the full product portfolio. You know, we need
Hmm.
to make this as widely available as possible. So
Hmm.
we're moving towards qualifying larger sizes and for pipe, for example, right? Plate production have to be fully commercial. Welding is another topic, right? Right now, we're suggesting welding with alloy 59, but there's also other consumables that could be used, or eventually, even qualifying or developing its own welding consumable. So there's still a lot that have to be done. Of course, this material is not a solution for every single application that is out there. It does have its limitations, and we're doing testing. We're discovering where it's good to use and where there are other materials that are better.
We're finishing up now with Marcelo Senatore, Technical Marketing Manager for the Americas region at Sandvik. We're talking about the Sanicro 35 alloy, which was one of the winning innovations in the 2021 Corrosion Innovation of the Year Awards program. Marcelo, is there anything about the innovation that we haven't discussed? As far as our listeners, our audience at MP and at AMP, is there anything about Sanicro that we haven't covered that you guys would like to get out there before we wind down?
And I guess the message is Sanicro 35. It's a new alloy, but it's very stable. It's safe, and it's a cost-effective alternative to expensive alloys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially high nickel alloys.
So for listeners that want more information after hearing you for the last, again, 20 minutes or so on this podcast, how can they find out more information? You can, certainly tease to Sandvik's website, email or contact info. Just basically let our listeners know where they can get more from you guys.
Sandvik website, it's an excellent source of information, and the material data sheet is there. There's a lot of good information. There's all the recordings from previous webinars is accessible, including yours, right?
Yep, we appreciate that.
Yeah. It was an excellent one. My email is marcelo.senatore, Senatore, at sandvik.com. You can contact me directly. And yeah, that's it.
Well, Marcelo, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate this.
Thank you.
And folks, that's where we will leave things on today's episode. If you want more information, Marcelo mentioned where you can find Sandvik. For us, you can check out the AMP website at ampp.org. You can also visit materialsperformance.com for all sorts of news related to the corrosion control industry. And you should also check out, if you have not already, the Corrosion Innovation Awards website, which has Sandvik's complete application and all sorts of background details related to the Sanicro 35 alloy. With that, we'll sign off. For Marcelo Senatore, I'm Ben Dubose. Thanks as always for listening, and please come back soon for another new podcast episode from the MP interview series.